So, ma'am, welcome to Business Standard Manthan. This is your first time here. Any initial thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here today and to share some views about the Competition Commission and the kind of work that we are doing, because last couple of years have been very busy, and now is a time when we would like to reach out and spread the word. So thank you for this opportunity.
Ma'am, I'd drive straight in. So India is moving from traditional markets to a lot of platform-led ecosystems. Everything is online now. Are there any regulatory blind spots that are still there? Even though Competition Act has been amended, a lot of changes have been made to keep pace with this digital ecosystem. What are the challenges you face?
So for us, a very important development which has been happening over the last few years is this development of digital markets. And the big tech companies, the way they are evolving, growing over time, there are these challenges which we are looking at when it comes to, there could be some anti-competitive practices that they are indulging in. And these could be practices which are like linked to self-preferencing, tying, bundling, or they resort to anti-competitive agreements, enforce unfair terms on people, on their users. So those are the kind of challenges which we are already looking at. And now with this coming of AI, the speed has become even more faster. So the speed of developments is so rapid that as a regulator, we thought that we also need to understand what's happening on AI front. And we've done a market study on AI and competition. So we ourselves are equipping ourselves to handle what are the issues which are going to come up very soon.
What is the action you're seeing in AI space? Are there competition concerns already there? Because that was the reason you commissioned the study on AI.
Yeah, so the AI study, we did a very comprehensive study, and we did stakeholder consultations also. And from the study, what emerged was that there are a huge amount of benefits which are there in AI. So you can look at efficiency gains. There is more targeting of people. They are able to get whatever they are looking for at much faster speed. And things have improved on numerous fronts, especially when you come to sectors like healthcare, education, logistics, supply chain management, education. There are these lot of benefits which have come. But hidden in this, is that this algorithmic collusion could be happening. There could be some targeted price discrimination. As long as you're getting your targeted choices, that's okay. But if it is targeted price discrimination, then there could be issues on that front as well. And the whole AI systems are very opaque.
Yeah.
So that was one of the aspects which came out very clearly in the study, that the systems need to be more transparent and more accountable.
As a regulator, are you also incorporating AI in any of your workings, or,
We are exploring that.
Data is a big issue. Data is the
data
new oil.
Data is a big issue, of course, but more important for us is that we are a custodian of that data, because people are providing commercially sensitive information, and they are asking for confidentiality on that. In fact, sometimes now the confidentiality they are seeking is permanent in time. So when we are handling data, we have to be careful. So I cannot pick up any tool, AI tool, and start using it without knowing that that data will not go out anywhere. Okay. So that safeguard has to be there.
Of course. Now, we understand that dominance itself is not considered bad in Competition Act. But how do you see dominance? Is it dominance by the majority market share, or it is absence of choices in the market? How do you view dominance?
Dominance is a very complex matter. When we look at dominance, it's defined in the Act also. So we have this definition of dominance which says that you are dominant if you are able to act independently of markets. So the market impact is not there on you, and you can then affect your consumers and your clients accordingly. And this concept of dominance also is evolving. It's a very dynamic thing.
How so?
And when we look at dominance, we do a very detailed exercise. And this exercise is not only market share. It's based on numerous other factors. So we have a very important aspect is that what is the market structure like? You know, that's where you would start. What's the market structure? What is the kind of level of integration? Is this vertical integration across the entire chain? Then what are your competitors like? How big, how resourceful, how important are your competitors? The third aspect of, I'm talking in terms of numbers, third, fourth aspect would be, do your consumers or your buyers have countervailing buying power? So it's a very comprehensive exercise where we look at the market as a whole. It's not just focused on one entity and saying, okay, your market share is this much and you're dominant. It doesn't work like that. So it's a very detailed analysis which is undertaken to determine all these factors.
I just want to get your view, your personal view also on this, that how do you see cross-border dominance? You know, we have Chinese products, for instance, coming into the market. Is that something that we are equipped to handle with in terms of how it affects competition in India?
Dominance, cross-border dominance, I am able to see it when we look at these big tech companies, because these are all global companies and they are operating in all markets all across the world. And we have already been taking a lot of action when it comes to these big tech companies, and we have taken action when it comes to these social media platforms, which is our latest one. We've also in the past looked at the online search engines, online intermediation services, and these companies are across the globe. That is one aspect where anybody who is having an impact in India, we are able to look at it. In fact, the Competition Act empowers us also to do that.
Yeah. You've
So
talked.
there is a specific section which says that. There's a section 32 of the Act which says that the company may be doing acts outside India, but in case they are having appreciable adverse effect on competition in India, then we can look at it. So we are equipped to handle cross-border actions, coordination, and also things which are having substantial effect in India.
In your 2 years now with the Competition Commission of India, almost 3 actually, right?
Yeah,
3.
yeah. 2 plus.
2 plus. Does some case stand out for you that you can share with us?
I
You
think,
can not name the company, but something
No,
interesting.
the most important case for us was the social media one.
Okay.
That was something which was very important for us, because we were saying that data is a non-price parameter for competition. And this was all happening in the backdrop of the DPDP Act having come out, and the rules were being framed. So we weren't very sure what is the area they will encompass, but we wanted to look at this from the competition standpoint. And that has really been upheld by the NCLAT, so that's a source of great satisfaction. But when we were looking at it, we were very careful that we should not be overstepping and getting into the domain of another regulator.
And you were looking into issues of how Indians' data is being used by some of these. Because we all use social media here, WhatsApp. It's a very important case that CCI took for. Can you tell us a little bit about the WhatsApp case?
The WhatsApp case was focused on the 2021 policy. So the 2021 update which came in, which there was no real choice given to the consumers, and it was a kind of a take it or leave it. The initial thing when it happened in the month of January, February, it was that you would be required to accept this update. Otherwise, you will not have access to WhatsApp. They later clarified it somewhere in May, saying, no, you will not lose your service. But the initial policy which came out was very clear that we are going to be coming up with this update, and whatever it encompasses, you have to say yes to it. Otherwise, you will lose access to WhatsApp. So there was a whole lot of pressure which was built up on the users.
Staying on the topic of big tech, I have to talk to you about the ex-ante regulations, ma'am. So there has been a lot of concern about whether we should have ex ante. Globally, markets like European Union and all have brought these rules, but India's position is very different. So how are you striking a balance between supporting our startups so that they don't bear the brunt of these regulations, as well as, ensuring that there is fair market?
When you look at startups, no, we have these 2, 3 things I would like to talk about. Of course, starting from the ex-ante regulation. The ex-ante regulation, wherever it has been used in the world, we look at the DMA or we look at the UK Act which has come up, they have restricted themselves to the very big platforms, the gatekeepers, so to say. So they are not looking at these small startups or even these smaller tech companies. They are not being covered in that. And that was the thinking in India as well, that we need to, even if we go in for ex-ante regulation, we have to be careful, especially because, we are in a very specific place. We are not like the US and we're not like Europe. So we need to strike a balance because we have a very robust startup ecosystem. So we can't be adopting anything just like that. We have to have a very careful understanding of the requirement of that legislation and its implications for the Indian ecosystem. So that was one aspect where I think all along, even the parliamentary committees and the government, the regulator, everybody was looking at it from that point of view, that we shouldn't be doing something which is like an overkill. Yeah. So we should not be resorting to that. The second thing is, when it comes to startups, we do have some safe harbors for them also. In the Act itself, if you look at the merger control regime, there are these asset turnover thresholds. There is this green channel where if there is no overlap, we don't require you to wait for us to give you a clearance. It is a deemed approval on filing. So that's one aspect. On the enforcement side, we've always been very careful, even in the last few years, that whenever we're looking at a small MSME, we will try not to impose monetary penalties. We'll just stop at a cease and desist and say, well, this is something we have looked at. We think it is anti-competitive, and that's our finding. And you please stop indulging in such conduct. And we don't really go ahead and impose penalties on them and be tough on the MSMEs.
That said, would you like CCI to have more powers, if I may put it like this? That do you think that there is a need for sharpening the regulator's teeth, if I may be a bit provocative?
I think, from time to time, the Competition Act has been looked at. Yes. And we have these regular reviews which are done. Even if I were to look at the Competition Act from the original act which came up, that was also considerably empowering. I mean, like, if I were to trace out, you have powers of search and seizure. You have powers of examining witnesses on oath. That is the power of the DG, which is assigned to them. Then, if I were to compare a lot of competition authorities worldwide, some of them don't have power to impose penalties. Even something like an FTC, they'll make a recommendation to a court that this is what should be done. Whereas with us, we already have that power to impose penalties, to ask for structural behavioral remedies. So I think we are sufficiently empowered. And then on top of it, when the Competition Amendment Act happened, that has given us even more, more scope when it comes to leniency plus regime, or it comes to doing settlements and commitments and quick market corrections. I think we are sufficiently empowered. It is only a matter of enforcing things in an effective and proportionate manner.
Before we move on to the next question to the audience, ma'am has very kindly agreed to take a couple of questions, but you have to stay on topic and we'll come back to you. So think up what you would like to ask. Ma'am, over the next decade of CCI, which capability of CCI you think needs most focus? Is it technology, is it talent, or is it cross-border coordination?
I don't think I can pick any of them as
put it in order of priority.
Other, but we have to, because the technological change is happening so rapidly, that we do have to keep abreast of that, and for that we need to build capacity. and all the time keep updating ourselves. So this market study on AI was one such attempt. And we are also looking at a think tank on AI, where we could bring in the experts and have their views on what needs to be done.
Because you are such a sector agnostic regulator, how do you build, sort of sectoral capabilities, especially now with the AI and data and everything? It is so technical. So is talent something that is on top of your mind too?
Yeah, we need to induct new talent. I think that's one conversation we've been having internally, that, our dependence on these young professionals who are coming for a short period of time is not really the way to build an institutional memory. So we are focused on that, and we've also sent a proposal to the government for some capacity enhancement.
But sectors specific, like
sector specific is our digital markets division. That would be data scientists, and also in terms of our analysis of various sectors.
So data scientists and
analysts, economics faculties, law faculties.
I wanted to talk to you about predatory pricing, which the Competition Act takes a very strong view. But in current times, we see a lot of market players. They enter the market at very low prices. They'll incur losses, but at what cost? They are undermining competition and edging out the rivals completely out of business. What is the regulatory view on this?
See, the regulatory view is very clear that our job is to ensure competition in the market. Right? Have a level playing field, allow everybody to compete, let the best people survive, let the consumer get the best quality at the best price and best choices. So that's from where we come. So as a competition commission, we are not a price regulator. So firstly, that is very clear. We are not the ones who are going to tell what is the right price. And our role is, the way the predatory pricing is also defined in the Act, is that are you selling below cost? So that is the yardstick where we start looking at predatory pricing, deep discounting, those kind of pricing strategies which are adopted. And for that, last year we did a cost of production regulation revision. So we've revised our regulations. The original regulations were done in the year 2009, so we needed an update on that. And we have been very careful that we give a very clear methodology as to how the Consumer Commission will do a cost analysis. Once we do a cost analysis, only then we can look at pricing strategies. So our standpoint is that, are you going below the cost and killing competition? Because our safeguards, what we need to safeguard is competition.
You did update the cost regulations. Another major thing that the Competition Act did was bring in deal value thresholds, which was obviously taken, the step was taken to capture transactions where there is no exchange of assets as such. Assets are not being transferred, physical assets are not being transferred, but the deal size is huge, like in the Meta case. So, ma'am, are there still some transactions that worry you after this deal value threshold of rupees 2,000 crore has been brought?
The deal value threshold was brought in with a view to ensure that killer acquisitions don't go under the radar. Yeah. We should be able to capture them. And we've had a considerable enhancement in our merger cases which are coming up. Since these deal value threshold was put in place, in the commission we have received about 44 cases. And strangely, a large part of it is on the physical markets, not in the digital markets. Digital market cases were only 6. Okay. So currently the threshold is working well. I don't see a need to either revise it upwards or downwards. And then the other important thing is that we are looking at only companies where there's a substantial business operations in India. So we are focused on India specific, and we are getting a lot of cases in that front.
So maybe there's a need to sharpen the focus of this, because it was...
Somewhere along the line, yes, we might look at that. Because a lot of these filings that are happening, they are only happening with regard to some companies acquiring certain assets and having presence in India. The substantial business operation threshold for non-digital companies is only 500 crores. So it's a lower threshold, and we are getting a large number of cases.
Before I go to the audience, one last question from my side, ma'am. Can you share your experiences as a woman regulator? I mean, you are the first woman regulator for CCI and second woman regulator of a regulatory body overall. It's.
I don't know. I don't look at it from that lens at all.
No, you don't look at it
because
from that
having
lens,
been,
but
having been in the service for 35 years before that,
Yes,
I think
please
we get
continue.
used to it that wherever we are, we have to do well. And I think as women, we are more conscious of the fact that, we are sitting in a place of responsibility. And I personally feel that, yeah, as women, we work harder and we work, and we're more efficiently, I think, because we have so many things to balance. So I think that has become more like a habit. It's not something linked only to CCI. I think whenever you start working, I think with every woman, she might be facing that.
And people are happy taking orders from a woman boss, do you think?
I don't see any problem.
No problem.
I don't see any problem.
All right, we'll move to the audience. That gentleman over there.
Yeah.
Please introduce yourself and don't make comments, if I may request. Just ask your questions and stay on the topic. No, you're not audible.
Yeah, hi, thanks. Binay Gupta, I run a strategic advisory firm, Geosynthesis. My question is for the CCI, is consumer welfare the primary determinant of designing and implementing competition law, as is in the case in US? Or do you guys also look at market structure and monopolies and all of that? Thank you.
No, the objective of the Competition Amendment Act is also consumer welfare. And we look at consumer welfare from the point of view that in case we ensure competition is there and we also prevent anti-competitive practices, we'll be providing a level playing field in the market and the best companies will survive, and that is for the welfare of the consumers. So we look at it from a general standpoint, not for, see, the consumer welfare is also looked at by Consumer Protection Act. So that is specific to one individual, whereas we look at welfare of all the consumers by ensuring markets function freely, fairly, and are contestable.
I think that question is also because so many players come into the market and it's great for the consumer, but you may be concerned more about competition as well.
Yes, so we look at it from the market standpoint, and but at the end of it, objective is the same, consumer welfare.
Yeah, it's a fine balance.